Hello, welcome to Understanding Your Water, a project of RiverWise. My name is Rodney Austin. I'm a chemistry professor with an interest in water quality, and I hope to help you understand more about your water quality through these series of videos that we're going to produce. Your interest may be coming from a general interest in water and drinking water, or perhaps an event in your city has led to some news. So perhaps there's been a boil effect, or there's been brown water, or a chlorine smell. And so if you experience this, and maybe you're here to figure out basically the question, how good is my water? And that's a common question because we use water for drinking, cooking, bathing. We use it in our pool. So we use it all the time, every day. And so we need to understand that better, that is water. And there's often a lot of mistrust with people who provide the water, and also a little bit of mystery about what goes in to water quality. So with this video segments, we're going to help you sort of demystify some of those things. So we're going to have four basic goals in these video segments. Number one, we want to define what we mean by public drinking water. Number two, we want to assist you in finding your annual water quality report. Number three, we want to help you review that water quality report. And fourthly, we want to make sure that you're an advocate for your own water quality. So first of all, let's define what we mean by public water systems. A public water system is a publicly or privately owned entity that provides water for human consumption. The US EPA defines that as a system that provides water to 25 people or 15 services. So if it goes to at least 25 people or 15 services, then it's a public water supplier. And it's estimated in the United States about 90% of people get their drinking water from a public supplier. The remaining folks get their water from wells or some other area. So for instance, in my home state of West Virginia, where my parents live, we have a well. It's about 150 feet deep. We've had it for over 30 years and it's still producing water. And I imagine there are a lot of people in that 10% who don't get public drinking water, who get their water from a well. But many people get these from the public systems. All right, public systems can be really small, those 15 people, 15 services or 25 people, all the way up to really large systems. So think of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, New York, Chicago, LA. Those particular systems can provide water to 1 million people or more. And if you get water from a public system, you probably haven't thought much about it, unless you have to pay your bill. Right? And this is actually fairly common in the United States because of our water quality. And what we find is that water is generally pretty cheap. All right, it's not inexpensive. It's not the cheapest thing, and there are bills that are lower, maybe bills like your cable bill that are higher, but it's generally reasonably priced, so it's fairly cheap. The water quality is good, and the service is also fairly reliable. All right, so reasonably priced water, good water quality, and reasonable reliability. That is not true for every public system in the United States, but as a total, most systems really can meet all of those fairly well. Also, one thing I'll point out is that sometimes we buy bottled water and that type of thing, but generally when we get water from a public supplier, they bill us by 1,000 gallons. And so usually a lot of places you can pay $3 or $4 or $5 for 1,000 gallons of water that is clean and delivered to your household. So by and large, we have good water quality in the United States. However, when the water quality is not good, it often makes the news. Probably the most likely news story that you've heard of in the last 15 years is from Flint, Michigan. And there, people that were in charge of producing the water and delivering it to the residents, the consumers, they knowingly didn't put a particular additive in the water to help prevent lead from leaching in. And so this made for a bad story, but also really is harmful to people, and so it was knowingly harmful to people who are consuming it. And so it leads to a lot of mistrust. All right, and so if you're in that particular situation, we want to try to help reestablish a little bit of the trust and to help demystify the water quality. And so if you're here, you're probably asking, how good is my water? And really, how do I know that it's good? Well, one of the ways you can find out is through something known as a Consumer Confidence Report, a CCR. All public systems are required to publish one of these, and they have to get it to you by July 1st for the previous year. And these systems, they provide these by mail or through online, perhaps at a website. And these give some basic water quality indicators. Now, they are not everything that a system would test for in a year, but they give the most important ones and the most telling ones in these consumer confidence reports. So in these sessions, we're going to help you find your Consumer Confidence Report, CCR as we'll sometimes call it, and we're going to help you interpret the information that are in those. In the next session, we aim to help you find your public provider, make sure you know who that is, and also find the report, the CCR, from that provider. We'll see you next time.